Hello, hello, hello. I'm just waiting for a few people to come in. And I want to talk about a subject, just something that I was just thinking about. And sometimes I normally don't come live just randomly, but today is just one of those days I wanted to talk about. And as the title says, is it preparation or procrastination? And the reason why I titled it that is because what I've realized in my own time is that sometimes, let me take my earphones off. Um, Sometimes what I learned is that some things that we consider to be procrastination is just merely preparation. And some things that we wait around and we're saying we're preparing for, it's not the right timing, it's really just procrastination. So it's important for you to know the difference because one of the biggest mistakes that we make is that we think that we have time. Time is something that you can't get back. You can recoup money, you can recoup quite a few other things, but you can't recoup your time, right? So is it procrastination or is it preparation? Some of us, God has given us things. I'm going to put this over here in my thing so my camera doesn't die. Um, there are some things that God has given us to do, some of us years ago, right? And there are times when you have to prepare to bring into manifestation the things that God has given you. But some of us, if we really can be honest, some of us are using what we consider preparation as procrastination, which means when you think about the word procrastination, right? I was looking it up and I was like, okay, if we're going to talk about this, we got to figure out, make sure we help people understand exactly what is procrastination, right? So procrastination is when you think that you got time, when you just use time to hold on, let me get up because I don't want to guess it because I don't want you to say, well, no, that's not what it says. That's not what it means for some of y'all educated folk. So let me pull up exactly what procrastination is. I had it up and then all of a sudden my phone just actually deleted it. Okay, so procrastination is the action of delaying or postponing something, right? Some of us are postponing things in our life that we're using the excuse of preparation to do. So what is it that you're supposed to do? What is it that God has revealed to you that you need to be doing that you're using preparation as an excuse not to do it? And I say excuse because the Bible says to everything there's a time and a season, right? So we think that, oh, I'm not ready to do exactly what it is that I'm supposed to do. I just need more time. There's never, I don't care how much time you have, you're never going to be fully prepared until you actually do it, till you actually step out and do it. And I'm not going to be before you long. It's just something I was just thinking about and I just wanted to come on and talk about. Um, I want you to take inventory and I want you to stop looking at time as if it's something that you're going to always have because we don't know. Look at the time. I mean, look at what's going on in the world today. We have some people who are here today and gone tomorrow and haven't fulfilled any of the things that God has told them to do, haven't fulfilled any of the plans that God called them to do because they're either waiting for somebody to validate them, waiting for somebody to approve them, or just making excuses, right? And it's not until you're in a moment like, especially with COVID, when COVID happened, it kind of jolted everybody into reality to realize, oh, wow, shoot, now this is the time I'm going to start focusing on doing what it is that I know that I'm supposed to be doing. So I want you to take a moment. I want you to think about what it is that you had that God placed on your heart and figure out that what it is that you need to do to prepare for it and do the work that's required to prepare for it. And then after you prepare for it, I don't care. You can prepare till you blue in the moon, right? You can spend years and years preparing, but until you actually do it, it's just going to be simply just then your preparation is going to eventually turn to procrastination. Some of us are procrastinating because we're scared. We're scared to do what it is that we're supposed to do because we're worried about what people think. We're worried about not doing it good enough, worrying about being, I'm telling you, this perfection thing really gets us, right? Because we feel like we have to do it perfect. It has to be right. But done is better than perfect. You have to start. You have to when I first started out doing some of the things that I felt like that God put on my heart, I didn't always do it right. Some stuff I just procrastinated because I kept feeling like, it's just not perfect enough. But you know what? In this day and time, people are not necessarily looking for perfection. They're looking, whatever gift or talent that God placed on the inside of you, He gave it to you for somebody else, right? So all you have to do is you have to display it. Prepare yourself so that you can properly display whatever it is that God put on the inside of you and give it, right? And then as you get used to doing it, you'll get better at it. But don't allow that to be your excuse and say, oh, well, I'm just not going to do it. I'm waiting I can't go live. I can't, talk about the things that are on my heart because I don't have the right equipment. I don't have the right camera. I don't have the right microphone. But guess what? Telling your story is just that. Everybody shares their story of their life or how they've gotten through something based on where they are, right? Think about the people that you've helped that are in your community, that are around you, that you've helped with your story. And you might have been somewhere sitting in the living room, right? You might have been somewhere sitting in the living room, just having a normal conversation. And in normal conversation, you begin to share some of the things that are on the inside of your heart. And then that person that you were talking to all of a sudden got blessed because you actually took the time to share your story. When you're actually in the middle of a trial or tribulation, you're not necessarily looking at how perfect the message is coming across. You're just looking for relief. You're looking for hope, right? Looking for some sort of possibility of a way out, right? So if I'm hungry and I'm starving, I'm not concerned that you're not serving me chicken fried. If you're not giving me fried chicken, you're giving me baked chicken. I don't really care about that. If I'm hungry for whatever it is, if I'm hungry, then I'm going to take it the way you give it to me. Now, that's not an excuse to say, well, I'm just give it to you any kind of way. I'm going to just give it to you. No, I'm not saying that whatever it is that you're supposed to do it any kind of way. I'm just saying sometimes people make excuses for not doing what they need to do. And I just wanted to just come on and just talk about that. I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna be long. It's just something I was just thinking about, something I was pondering about, because we take time so lightly and we just think that's all we have. We just have all the time in the world to do everything that we wanted to do. And there's some people that did not wake up this morning and had some plans, to get up and start their day, and they didn't do that. They didn't get up and they didn't finish whatever it is that God had given or imparted on the inside of them. So it's just something I was just thinking about. And I like to come on and do lives because when I'm in my mode and I'm thinking and I'm meditating, that's when I actually like to talk, because I feel like I feel like I'm in front of people and I'm sharing my thoughts just like I would if you were sitting across from me. And so I've learned in my own experience that during the years that I procrastinated, um, was I ready? Yes. Were there a little bit of procrastination? Yes. Was it sometimes that I was just preparing? Yeah, there's some times where I was prepping for where I am today. And then there's sometimes I was procrastinating. And most of the procrastination came from me being concerned about what people thought about I how I was going to be able to share my story, right? Hey Shakima, how are you? Thank you for watching. And Shakima, you're in the same lane as I am, but I want you to really consider that we don't have as much time as we don't know how much time we have. And I'm determined. This is something that I have just, it's just a personal proclamation that I've, made this year, is that I'm going to make sure that when I leave this earth, that I'm going to do my best to empty out everything that's on the inside of me, so that when you come back and you watch my videos, or you listen to me in conversation, or you're around me in company, I'm going to make sure that I make use of every bit of time that I have to make sure that I'm being whoever it is that God want me to be in that moment. And I want you to do the same thing, because sometimes I'm noticing too that, man, we just take things for granted. We take people for granted, right? And just this past like couple of months, and it's coming up on, I've got like about and it's always like April's always like that startling month for me. It'll be 6 years that I lost my late husband to a major car accident. And it's always during this time. I mean, I'm always in like a thinking mode, but this year it's, and actually it's been like the past 2 years, I've been um taking just the time to just really reflect and really think about where I've come from, what has changed in my life in the past 6 years. What have I done to actually bring glory to God? What have I done to magnify the presence of the Lord in my life? What have I done to be an example? Right? What have I done to be a good steward over the gifts and talents that God has given me? And one of the things I realize is, as I take this month to really reflect, is I realize that we just don't have as much time as we think we do. So we have to be intentional with the way we use our time, and even allowing people to waste our time. You have to be able to rationalize your time out throughout the day to be able to know how much time am I going to allot for my children, how much time am I going to allow for my spouse, how much time I'm going to allot for my relationship with God, how much time am I going to allot for me to operate in my business or work my job. And when you begin to count up the time, you realize, wow, 20, I mean, we sleep at least 6 to 8 hours or 24 hours of the day, right? And then if you have children, your children in school they're in school for about what, 8 hours out of the day. So you've already got what, 15 hours that's already been gone, right? That where you're not actually sleeping, right? And so then that's between work and doing things around the house or doing things, spending time with your children. That's already like 15, 16, 17 hours already gone. And so I was sitting at my desk just now, and I was just thinking like, wow, here it is. It's 2022 already. What things in my life that I need to continue to display, what things that are inside of my heart that I have yet to manifest. um and it doesn't mean that you have to walk around and you have to be just like, oh my God, I got to do this, and oh my God, I got to do that, because there is a time, for everything there's a time and a season. But I'm not talking about when you just don't know. I'm talking about people who know, right? Because some of us been around a long time. We've been kind of walking around the same circle, I'm talking to you, those people, right? People who have been carrying a vision inside of them, know exactly what they need to do, but keep making excuses why they can't do it. I can't do it because I can't do it because I'm talking to you specifically. So whatever it is, I don't know, I just feel led to talk about that. It wasn't something that I just planned. I was just sitting down at my desk doing some stuff, and I just thought about it, and I thought, wow, and so I thought, well, you know what? Instead of me writing, I was going to do like a little long blog. But let me tell y'all, let me give y'all a secret. I'm not one of them girls that read these 19 paragraph posts. I'm sorry. I'm just not. I'm not them girls that read. I know that is a part of copywriting, and that's how people. I'm not one of those that read. If you writing a post and it's 20 paragraphs long, I'm probably going to read the first sentence of the first paragraph, and then I'm probably going to just skip. I'm just being honest. I'm just going to probably skate past it. So I'm more of a video type girl. I rather just do a video about it, because I know that I'm going to grasp more of your attention if I'm in video form or in audio form. So I just wanted to kind of come on and just let you guys know whatever it is that you're supposed to do, that I'm not talking about what you don't know. I'm talking about that what you're supposed to do. Get to it. You don't have as much time as you think you do. I'm sure the person who didn't wake up this morning thought they had time, right? I'm sure the people who woke up and something happened who didn't wake up and thought, oh yeah, I'll just do it tomorrow. Don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. Right. And that doesn't mean that, and I'm not saying to get all overwhelmed and get all shook up about what to do. I'm talking about the thing that you're supposed to do. right? We were all born for something, to give something, right? To display something in the earth realm, right? Find out exactly what that is. Stop allowing people and things to consume your time so that you can stop making excuses for doing what it is that you know you need to do. You know you're supposed to start that business a year ago, but you keep making excuses. Oh, I just can't. Oh, manage your finances so that you can be able to do what you need to do and have the time that you need. That's one thing I've learned. Of all the things that I've wanted to do, I realized in order for me to get to a place to bring it into manifestation, I have to prepare. But just like I said in the video, is it preparation or procrastination? Take time to prepare, but don't spend all of your life or all of these years trying to prepare. And if you just got to know the season that you're in. To everything, like I said, there's a time and season. And so, and I know there's probably going to be people that have extreme disagree with me either way, and that's fine. I'm not here to debate with you. I'm just here to share with you what's on my heart, because the people I believe that I'm talking to are not people that are, like I said, that don't know what they're supposed to be doing. So I'm only talking to the people that do know what they're supposed to be doing and keep making excuses for not being able to do it. I'm waiting for the right moment. Well, there's never going to be a right moment, right? I'm waiting for my finances to get in order. Well, guess what? There's never going to be a right time for anything. When and I always say that it's the start that stops people. Sometimes you just got to do it, and you got to do it afraid. Like Joyce Meyer said, you got to do it afraid. And you will be amazed that when you take the initiative to do whatever it is that you're supposed to do, you'll find out it'll get easier and easier and easier every time you do it. And then you'll realize, and you'll look back and you'll be like, wait a minute, I spent all this time in fear, because that's why most of us don't really do what we're supposed to do, because of fear. We're scared of the rejection. We're terrified of feeling like we're not going to do it right. But it's only like that when we feel like we have to display it. But when you become one with the very thing that God called you to do, it just happens naturally. You just do it with a flow. And so yeah, so hi Deborah, thank you so much. Hi Vinny. Yes, yes, definitely. So I definitely want you to take some inventory and really look at, and it's crazy because most of us don't move because we're looking for validation, for people to validate our idea or validate our perception or validate when to go, when. And sometimes, let me tell you the problem with that. The problem with waiting for somebody to tell you when to go or validate, right? And I always say this: validation is for parking. The problem with waiting for people to tell you when to go is that they have the power to tell you when to stop too, right? And then what happens is you get stuck in this mode, this approval mode. And that can be really bad. Some of us have businesses and we're scared to do it because we're worrying about, well, what are they going to think? Well, God didn't give it to them. He didn't have a conference call when it came to giving you a particular idea. Hey, Felissa, how are you? Thank you guys for watching. I'm over here talking, not even looking at the comments. My apologies, guys. Hi, Deborah. Vinny says it's the start that stops people. Yes, absolutely. Deborah said it's real truth, real talk. Absolutely. Absolutely, right? Do it scared walking. Yeah. And then you find out. You ever watch the what was it? Little Red Riding Hood, I think it was, where the whole point of, before I even get into that whole story, the whole point is that sometimes there's always a bluff before us, right? Sometimes fear is like a bluff, always getting you to think about what if it doesn't go right? What if people look at me crazy? What if I fumble over my words? Well, what if you do? What if you fumble over your words and you still get the message across, right? What if you don't say it in the proper verbiage and you still get your, oh God, Lord have mercy. What if you don't get, let me tell y'all a secret. Okay. Let's just, since we keeping it real, right? Can we keep it real? I was watching I was watching Steve Harvey, right? And it was this lady that was on there and she was talking about how she stuttered, right? And she was saying, I have she was saying, Steve, I noticed that you have a problem with stuttering. And, And I want to be able to, she said she wanted to date, she wanted to start, building relationships, but she didn't want people to see her based on her handicap or her disability, the way she explained it. And she wanted to know what was Steve Harvey's advice on how to deal with stuttering. And he said, and what he said to her was so powerful. Sometimes we just need to just slow down. We are sometimes just allowing people to just treat us like puppets. They just kind of like, just telling us which way to go. To the point to we don't even trust our own decisions. You ever been to the point where you have people always telling you what to do? Do this, go left, go right, go left, go right, go back, go turn to the side, go do this. And the next thing you know, you stop trusting your instincts to do what you would have normally done. You stop trusting your instincts because you're so used to, and you go into procrastination mode because you're waiting to be validated to go. It's almost like when you think about validating parking, you don't go anywhere. You wait for the person to come and get your keys and drive your car. Sometimes that's the problem. And there's nothing wrong with getting assisting and having people help you, but sometimes we just need to sometimes we need to get in the driver's seat of our own car and stop allowing people to validate us. And I'm not talking about, and I want to bring a balance to this, because sometimes there's always going to be somebody that's going to be trying to take what I say to the extreme. I'm sorry, I'm reading what you say. Felissa says, solid, say that the mountain when you don't know what's on the other side. Said that to them. Okay. Okay. Absolutely, Felissa. Absolutely. So this is something I had to do in my own personal life as I realized the power of my own decisions, right? And when I realized the power of my own decisions, I started to slow down and realize that I have the ability to choose which direction I want to go in, right? I have the ability to decide what I want to do when I get up in the morning. I have the ability to decide how I'm going to display whatever it is that God put on the inside of me. And the more I started to get free in my mind and started to believe that how can I give something to somebody else and not at least believe that whatever it is that he put on the inside of me is going to help somebody else, right? I was concerned. I cannot put my words together right. I'm not articulate as some people are. But what I realize is that you may be able to articulate some things better than me, and good for you. You know, you may be able to articulate some things better than me. You might be able to wear it better than me. You might even be able to position yourself better than me. But the difference is you can never do it the way I do it. And knowing that and being aware of the fact that you are unique. My name, when I looked up my name, this was many, many years ago. I looked up my name, and when I realized what the meaning of my name was, I thought, wow, when my mom named me, she didn't even really know that there was a purpose even behind my name, right? So when I realized what my name meant, and my name means angelic messenger, it means of a rare kind, right? And it also means precious. And so I started laughing to myself when I found out that, because when I was in my teenage years, I used to call myself Precious. That was my nickname in high school. And it's funny because I was like prophetically saying stuff over my name over many, many years and didn't even have a clue exactly what I was even saying or doing. But what I realized is that when I realized the power in me being who I am, and that nobody can take that away from me. You might be able to do it better. You might look better. You might have more money. You might have more, but because I am crafted in such a unique way to be who I am, you can't be who I am in what it is that God called me to do. That freed me up. It allowed the creativity to flow in my life. So now I wasn't looking over here at this person or looking over here at that person to seeing how they do it. I started to hone in and I started to prepare, and I started to stop procrastinating, because I realized looking over here at this person and looking over here to that person, all it did was create more fear, more insecurity about what they have and what I don't have, right? And so what I realized when I realized that I was able to walk in the power of awareness and knowing who I was in Christ, it changed how I saw myself. It changed how I saw myself as a mother. It changed how I saw myself as a daughter. It changed how I saw myself as a believer, as a businesswoman, um, in every area of my life. And so now I wake up with this keen awareness that, girl, nobody can do it like you. Nobody can be you like you. Nobody, right, Vinny? No one can give your message the way it was meant to be given by you. And you know why? Because there are some things that are added to the message. See, we think when we actually display what it is that God give us, that it's just merely words. Mm-mm, mm-mm. There is experience. There is a sense of security. It's filled with substance, right? So you and I can go through the same experience, right? And we can come out and have two totally different perspectives, right? Even though we can say the exact same thing, but there is a different connection when I say it because of the experiences that are behind why I believe the way I believe, why I say things the way I do, why I look the way I look. There is a belief system that follows that. And that belief system is something that I have internalized and now able to display. And it took me a while to get there. I have to really be honest with you guys. It took me a while to be there and to get there because I was always one that compared myself to the next person. Well, I don't do it quite like them. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. But what I had did a post about it earlier in the year, and I said, would you say I'm the real deal? Yes, you are, Deborah. You are the real deal. You are the real deal. I think when we understand that too, when we understand that there is no copies, there's no cheap copies. You could try to be a cheap copy of somebody else, but you'll wind up doing it just like you anyway. You'll never really fully be able to copy them because the uniqueness and the characteristics that God has put on the inside of you will automatically start to display. So you'll try to be like them, but you'll be your own unique version of them. You'll never be exactly like them. We have unique fingertips for unique fingerprints for a reason, right? There's a reason why we look a certain way. Do you know that none of us have the same fingerprint? None of us have, we have similar visions, but none of us have the exact same vision, the exact way that God has given each of us. It doesn't mean that we can't, that we can't work together and we can't take similar visions and collaborate. It just means that when God gives you something, it is for you because, man, the more I think about it, the more I just am so grateful because for somebody to take the time to create something, to handcraft you, right? And put something on the inside of you and then send you out into the world and then give you the opportunity to display it. I can't even explain how beautiful that is. Like, just think about when you have your children, right? When you have your children and you start to see certain things operate in them and you begin to watch them walk out, right? The thing that you see that you know is on the inside of them, and you begin to see them display it. It does something to your heart. So just imagine every time you fulfill the plan of God for your life, every time you walk in confidence and you walk in the fact that I am the way I am because this is how God made me to be. When you do that, can you imagine the smile that goes on God's face when you begin to operate just the way he created you to be? And I started to think about that and I was like, wow, sometimes I have these moments where I'm just like thinking and talking to myself. And sometimes I'd be like, girl, you awesome. And I'll say that I'm awesome because guess what? It's not what people say to you publicly that matters. It's what you say to yourself, right? And I know that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And I know that God created me to be here on this earth, to be uniquely, and gave me a unique assignment that only Nadira can do, right? And that alone makes me feel like I'm special, right? And it makes me feel like, man, there's something on the inside of me that God wants to fulfill. And that makes me smile. It makes me excited. Now I'm not depending on somebody to tell me, oh, you're this. You don't have to, you could tell me that I'm beautiful all day long, but it doesn't mean anything to me the way I see myself. I see myself in God's eyes as a flower, as somebody that He has taken time. He's brought me through so many things. And when I think about, we say it so many times, when I think on the goodness of God, I do this, I do that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, when we really take time to reflect on the things that God has brought us through, when I, Nadira, think about the things that God has brought me through, and I start to smile. Sorry about that. Got a call from my little niece in the midst of doing my live. Hi, Rosie. But so yeah, I realized that when the more I take time to think about the things that make me who I am, the things that make up who I am, the more I feel like I'm capable of doing exactly what it is. And I'm not talking about in a unbalanced way. I'm just talking about being able to fight against the comparison and fighting against Morristown, New Jersey, 1-862-260-0975. Okay, sorry about that. I keep getting interrupted by my little niece. So I'm sorry about that. But okay. This time my daughter picked up. Okay. So I just wanted to come on and just kind of just share that with you guys. Right. Diamond in the rough, Alyssa. Absolutely. Absolutely. Khadija says yes. So it's just something I was just thinking about. I didn't come with anything formal. I just want to just kind of just talk to you. I know a lot of the times when we're thinking about going live, we cringe because we're always thinking about that we have to talk at you. And that was one of the things that helped it make it easier for me when it came to going live, doing videos, sharing my vlogs, my thoughts, is that I had to realize that the audience that you're talking to people. And there's a difference between talking to people and talking at people. And I started to change how I talk in terms of presenting whatever it is that's on the inside of me. So let me know in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and go through some of your comments. I'm so sorry that I got to talking that I didn't even realize that some of your comments. Shakima said, amen. That's right. Thank you, Shakima. And Vinny said, facts. Deborah says, real truth. It's the start that stops people. And you are keeping it real. Yes. Felissa said, hey, it's Felissa. So let me know in the comments. Yes. Yes. Deborah said, just do it. Let me know in the comments. What are some things um that are keeping you from actually doing what it is that you know you're supposed to do? And like I said, I'm not talking to everybody. I'm talking to a select few. You know what God called you to do, but you just keep procrastinating and using preparation as an excuse to not manifest what it is that you're supposed to do. And one thing I realized that when you take the time and I was talking to somebody, I said, even when it comes to doing coaching or any type of business, you're not going to get good at it unless you do it you know I recently started skating again, and I love it. I love the simplicity in just being able to release and have fun, just being able to glide across the floor. It makes me feel like I can do anything, right? And I realized that I could have done this a long time ago. Why did I wait so long to do the things that I love to do? Because I was stuck in this mindset of feeling like, well, this is just the way it is. This is just the way my life is, not realizing that you have to make a choice every day to live. You have to make a choice every day to work towards whatever it is that you're supposed to do. You have to be intentional. You have to make a decision every moment Not every day only, but every moment. Because you can make a decision today, and then by later on, you've already changed your mind. You have to make a decision every moment that I'm going to do and fulfill whatever it is that I'm supposed to do, because you don't know. It's not a guarantee you're going to be here tomorrow to even manifest it or even decide to do it, right? So whatever it is that you know that you're supposed to do, get to it. Stop procrastinating. You know you're supposed to write a book. Stop waiting years and years and years to write a book. Stop waiting for somebody to tell you. I waited 3 years to write my book, and it wasn't because I was preparing. I'm just being honest with you. I was scared. I was procrastinating because I remember a friend of mine came here and was like, you next with writing your book, and I was just like, yeah. And I had like one chapter for like a year, and that chapter didn't even go in my book. That's the funny part. That chapter I never even used. And so I realized when I sat down and I started to think about what it is the goodness of God, and I thought about all the things that He brought me through. It didn't take me long to write that book at all, because I was out thinking that I had to have it perfect. And sometimes you just got to just start where you are and get better as you do it. We wait. Oh, I gotta wait until it's just perfect. To me, I was waiting until I had a table of contents. Oh, I gotta wait till I have all my table of contents. I gotta wait till I have this, and it distracted me, right? And everybody's process for doing something is going to be different. But the fact is that the key point that I want to drive is to do it. Like Nike said, just do it. Stop procrastinating. Stop waiting for people. You know that you have a business and something that you want to do, and we're waiting for people to affirm us and tell us this is your time. No, it's always been your time. Do it. It's been your time from the first day you walked on this, that you manifested into the earth realm. It's been your time. You just had to go through a preparation period. Now you've gone through that preparation period. Stop letting people make you think you got to wait all these years and years to do stuff. No. Make a decision today. Make a decision now that I'm going to do exactly what it is that I'm supposed to do. Stop waiting for people to affirm you. Stop waiting for people to tell you this is the time to do it, or you got to do this and you got to be like that. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. If you're not going to be a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer, it don't. Don't let people make you think that you got to go through this long, drawn out thing to do it. Sometimes you just got to get going, and as you go, you get better as you go. Right. I never went to school for graphic arts. Right. Never went to school. And yet here I am. I consider myself a media mogul. Right. I can create a video from anything. I can take my creativity and create a whole production. Never went to school for graphics. Never took one class on how to do a video. And I'm not saying that there are cases where you need to do that. I'm just saying, I'm driving the point that sometimes you just got to do it. And the more I started to just really just sit back and think about, you know what? Yes, Deborah. Yes, she was scared to tell your story. And God says the time is now. Yes, Deborah, the time is now, because the more we wait to share our journey with the people that are assigned to us, the longer they stay they stay stuck, right? So that's how you got to look at it. The longer it takes you to get your act together to be able to share, especially if God is giving you something, right? Giving you the ability. I did a live not so long ago, and I said that we are obligated. When you have overcome something, you are obligated to share your story. If God give you the ability to live, to talk about it, you are obligated to share your story. And so when we begin to take things like that, things that we went through, when I, you know, talked about some of the things I went through, I was scared to death to write my book. I was talking to my sister-in-law one day, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I really want to tell my story, because if I tell my story, a whole lot of people might hate me. I probably don't have no, I probably get a whole lot of hate mail. But then what I realized is that it's my story, right? From my perspective, right? And it doesn't mean that, and that's what happens. Sometimes we don't want to tell our story. We don't want to manifest because we're worried. Oh my gosh, what are they going to do? What are they going to think? So what? Who cares? Who cares? The only thing that matters is that the person that is meant to receive it, that they get it, right? The only person that cares about breast milk is the baby that you that needs the milk, right? A grown kid or 8-year-old, 10-year-old is not going to care about your breast milk, right? They're not going to care about it because they're not assigned to it. But but a newborn baby that is assigned to your breast milk is going to take it, and they're not going to be concerned about whether you got your shirt on or off, whether you wear the right nursing bra or not. They're just gonna come for whatever it is that you got. And that's kind of changed my perspective on how I dealt with things. Is that I had to learn that, you know what, when it's time to prepare, it's time to prepare. And sometimes you just got to just get out there and do it scared. You got to do it afraid. And you'll realize that the more you get comfortable with it, the easier it'll become. You know, yes, discouragement is always present, but God's excellence always standing by. And that's another thing I want to talk about. Sometimes we use the word excellence. We want to do things in a spirit of excellence. But let me give you a new perspective to the word excellence, right? And this is not a cop out to just do things any kind of way. This is not an excuse to be like, oh, let me just go ahead and just do it, just throw something together. But when I think about excellence, that means doing it the way God told you to do it, right? And sometimes the way God tells you to do it is going to be it's going to be different moment to moment. So when I think about doing it in the spirit of excellence, we interpret excellence as doing it perfect, doing it the right way. But what really is the right way, right? Because when you think about back in the day when it came to them sharing their stories, when you think about the disciples and as they began to go out and they began to preach the gospel, were they concerned about being perfect or were they concerned about just doing it, right? When he sent them out two by two, did he tell them make sure that that you have a certain look? Make sure you do this. The only thing he told them is that when you go into their house and if they receive you, they receive you. If they don't, kick the dirt off their feet and keep going. And that's kind of like, I mean, I don't want to seem like careless, but sometimes that's just how it has to be sometimes. You have to decide that I'm going to do whatever it is that God called me to do in the way that he has given it to me and not be concerned about this so-called spirit of excellence that we proclaim, because most of that is just really just, I mean, I'm just being honest. I'm just being transparent. Most of this spirit of excellence stuff is really just us feeling like it has to be perfect. But nothing is as perfect as you doing what God called you to do the way he told you to do it. And sometimes when you think about all those times when you was doing what it is that you needed to do, you may have not always been in the right position. Sometimes you had to do it at work, right? When you were uncomfortable and didn't want to do it because you didn't worry about getting fired. When he told you to share the good news of the gospel, you were scared, you know, and you afraid that if I say it, I might, if I talk about God on my job, they're gonna fire me. If I do this, that's gonna hinder me. Or did you just do it because you did exactly what God told you to do, the way he told you to do it, and you felt like once you did it, you felt like, wow. And then he will give you wisdom in how to display it. Wisdom is not the same as wisdom is excellence. Yeah, I like that. Wisdom is excellence. It's not the other way around. We think excellence is perfect, but really excellence is wisdom. Wisdom on how to do something. I think I might make that out of a shirt. Excellence is wisdom. And that's really what it is. The more I get comfortable with being who I am and displaying what it is that God put on the inside of me, I realize the less I care about what people think. Because guess what? There's always going to be people that have opinions about you. There's always going to be people that are going to be judging you, whether you're doing it right, you're doing it wrong, you're not properly articulating your words, you're not doing this, but I don't really care. I don't really care what people think in a sense of it stopping me from doing what it is that I do. Now, will I take your advice if I feel like it's going to help me? Of course. I feel like we should always be open. In a multitude of counselors, there's safety. I don't disagree with wisdom when people are giving you wisdom. I'm just simply saying not allowing what we consider preparation to cause us to procrastinate. So that's all that I have for you guys today, which is something I didn't even intend on being here for as long as I have. But there are times when I do have some things on my heart and I want to share it. And this was just one of those times. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to join me on Fridays, Sisterhood Check In. Um, as we just continue our journey on helping people take their life experiences and turn them into life lessons. So, if you are someone that needs help with taking your journey and being able to turn it into life lessons, book a call with me. Go to my website. I'm going to display it up here, www.womanofproverbscoaching.com. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I do for those of you that watch me and may not know exactly what exactly does she do. I am an author, life, and business coach. And what I do is I help women take their life experiences and turn them into life lessons. And the way that I do that is I help you be able to pull out the lessons that you've gained in the experiences that you went through. And I show you how to create them to be to turn them into life lessons for other people. It's something that I do currently myself. And I show other women how to do the exact same. So make sure if you need anything in regards to business services, I call myself the media mogul. You can reach me at www.womanofproverbscoaching.com. Yes, thank you. Hey, Khadija. So that's my little spill for today. So thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Vinny. Thank you for watching. Um, and I'll see you, next time. I don't know, maybe, depends on if I have something to say tomorrow, Wednesday, I guess we'll know, right? I try to, um, I have shows like Sisterhood Check In, and we have dinner with the coaches where we have guests, but there's sometimes during the week where I only like to come on if I have something to say. If I don't have anything to say, then I'm not going to be one to just be babbling, you know. When you say, Felissa, help a sister out. I'm not one that's just going to be babbling, but there are times when things are on my heart and I feel like this will help whoever it is that God sent. It may not have been for everybody, and I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. But I do know that He put it on my heart to actually do this, and I know that whoever this is for, get to work. Stop allowing people to stop you or put all these limitations on you and keep you back. I feel like if I had to put a visual to it, it's almost like I feel like sometimes there's people in your life that is always putting these roadblocks before you, right? Making you jump over all these hurdles before you do it, whatever it is that you're supposed to do. And if you don't, and sometimes for some of you, you might get discouraged because you just feel like get over one hurdle and here comes another one. I take a breath and here comes something else. But you know what? Sometimes you have to just slow down and you have to just re-strategize and you have to decide, this is what I'm not going to allow this to interfere with me any longer. I'm not going to allow anybody to stop me from fulfilling the call that God has me, the plan and purpose that God has on my life. I'm not going to allow anybody else to hinder that. And sometimes when you make that decision to do that, you'd be amazed at how things will just start moving out the way when you make a decision. When you make a decision, I'm not going to allow anything else to hinder me. I'm going to do exactly what it is that I'm supposed to do. And I'm going to do it afraid. And I'm going to do it whether I have everything or not, because everything I need is on the inside of me. This external stuff, microphones, video, that's extra stuff. You don't need all of that when it comes to displaying what it is that you're supposed to do. That stuff comes over time. I can do this with or without a mic. I can do this one-on-one. I can do this, which is what I've been doing. A lot of the stuff that I'm talking to you about, I do this naturally one-on-one with people. I do this naturally in groups with people. I'm actually better, when I'm actually not on camera because I flow a little bit differently. Sometimes there's a little bit of ooh, when you're in the camera because you're worried about people looking at you, wonder what they're thinking. Is my hair right? Is my lipstick, is it lipstick on my teeth? Those little things like that. But when you're in the midst of people, and you start doing stuff, it just comes naturally. You don't think about it. You just think about the results that you want to produce in a person's life. And so, yeah, so that's my little spill for today. You know what it is that you're supposed to do. Get to it. Get to work. You don't have as much time as you think you do. And you'll be surprised that when you do it, you'll thank me for it. And you'll be like, wow, I waited all that for nothing. Because you get released too. When you do what God called you to do, guess what? You get released too. You get released too. Stop trying to wait for the perfect moment and just allow yourself to be in the perfect will of God and just do what it is that He called you to do. So that's my little spill for tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Again, my website is at the bottom. If you need to book a call with me, you can book a call with me at www.womanofproverbscoaching.com. Now, I do want to say to you guys that when you book a call with me, it is a questionnaire that I ask you to fill out because I am very intentional when it comes to my coaching, right? I'm not one of those people that when you pick up the phone to call me that we talking for hours and hours and hours and we are not getting anything accomplished. I'm very results driven, So there's a questionnaire, and once you fill out that questionnaire, then I know you're serious about what it is that you want to do. Then I feel that I have been blessed with the opportunity to walk you through some steps concerning your life or business, and I look forward to be able to talk to help you. So until next time, you guys have an amazing week, and I'll see you guys next time.